Hey everybody, welcome back to the Race 5 Smokehouse and Grill. Today we are taking this pork butt and we are making some delicious, spicy, cheesy Italian sausages from scratch. Let's go. Let's jump straight into this cook. We are starting with a pork butt. This says 9.47 pounds on it. We are gonna break this down into cubes and get that bone out of there and then get an accurate weight. So first things first, let's break this down. And with Italian sausage, you typically use pork butts, and for a couple reasons. Typically, it's the cheapest cut of meat, and so it's gonna give you a lot of yield for relatively lower cost. And two, the fattiness and marbling of a pork butt is roughly in a sweet range of 70-30 to 80-20% meat to fat, which gives you a perfect ratio of meat to fat for sausages. So let's get this cubed up first. You see the bone here, all the way out here. So what I like to do is just kind of start breaking it down. And then we're gonna cut around that bone. And then just kind of keep working your way around it. Does not have to be perfect, because this is gonna get all chunked up here in a minute. We're just working our way, trying to get as much meat off of this as possible. Now we've got this bone pretty clean, so we're gonna get rid of it. You can save it for stock. So we're gonna put this off to the side, cube this up. When cubing this meat up, all I wanna do is be able to get it into nice sized chunks that are gonna go through the grinder pretty easily. So if you're looking, 1.5 to 2.5 inch cubes, depending on the size of your grinder. So we have our pork cubed up here. I'm gonna clean this cutting board up. I'm gonna get a scale out because we need to know how much we have here so we can get a good calculation for the rest of our ingredients. I'm gonna get this gone. Let me get that scale. We have our scale ready, zeroed out. We're gonna get this meat on here, see what kind of weight we have. So we are at 8.7 pounds of pork butt here. That bone weight was just under 3/4 of a pound. So we're gonna get this off to the side. I'm actually gonna go put this in the refrigerator for a little bit, maybe a half an hour, get this all nice and cleaned up. Then we're gonna bring out our spices and I'm gonna show you what all those ratios are and the weight you need for 8.7 pounds. Be right back. Meat is cubed up and sitting in the fridge. So now it's time to put our grinder together. I did have all the hardware that could go in the freezer because when we do this, we wanna make sure that that meat stays cold and doesn't smear and get bogged down in the machine. So let's get this all put together. And we're starting with the 10mm grind plate here, the thicker, coarser grind. We are gonna do a double grind on this. All put together, let's go get that meat, start grinding. Get the hopper loaded, nice and cold. Get it rolling. We have the first coarse grind done. Typically at this point, you go put this back in the fridge, clean this up, throw that back in the freezer. This is still very nice and cold, so is the meat. So I'm gonna hurry up, switch this blade out from the coarse to the finer die. And this is the 4.5mm die. Got the hopper loaded back up. Let's get this fine grind going. And a little pro tip at the end when it's about done grinding, throw a handful of ice in there and it's gonna push the residual meat out. You're gonna get some ice chunks in your meat, but that's okay because that's just a little bit more moisture going into the sausage. So we got this ground up. I'm gonna get this off to the side and then we're gonna break down the seasonings we're putting in here. Be right back. We have our ground meat. I put all of our ingredients together over here. So let's talk about our ingredients right now. And for the fennel, we're going at about 59 grams. Black pepper, we're at about 48 grams. Same with salt. Salt and pepper on this are 1-to-1, 48 grams. Red pepper flakes, we are at 5 grams. Red wine, we weighed out 156 grams. Garlic powder, 20 grams. Calabrian chili peppers, 9 grams. And 300 grams of high-temp mozzarella. 2 key notes here to take into account. The fennel, I used whole fennel seeds, but about half of that I ground up into a fine grain fennel because I want to make sure that gets all over and it's not just big chunks of seed you're getting. Though I do like the seeds, I like breaking down about 50% of this into a ground fennel to go along with the other half being seed. And the Calabrian chili peppers. Now, I got this inspiration because I do a jalapeno cheddar sausage that's really, really good. So I love Italian sausage. I love this recipe. So in my head, let's make an Italian version of the jalapeno cheddar sausage with high-temp mozzarella and Calabrian chili peppers. Now the Calabrian chili peppers pack quite a punch, and these came chopped up in oil, so they're pretty concentrated. You don't need a lot of them. These aren't fresh peppers that you could just get from the market, at least I can't. So that's why we got these. There'll be a link in the description for these exact peppers, along with all the ratios per pound of all these ingredients. You don't need a ton of this Calabrian chili. It's going to add a great flavor as it sits, along with the black pepper and red pepper flake. That's going to give this a great spice. All right, so let's add all this in. We're just going to literally go right over the top of everything, and then we're going to get to mix in here in a second. Fennel, black pepper, salt, crushed red pepper, our garlic powder, our cheese, and then I'm gonna add this slowly. I'm gonna add a pinch here and a pinch there as we're mixing it to try to make sure we get this integrated across the board here. Again, we're not looking to try to blow people's faces off with this. We wanna get a nice uniform heat distribution through here. And I'm gonna add that wine in here in a minute after I get this mixed up, to really finish this off and round it out. And you want to make sure you get it mixed up because even after a good mixing so far, there's still big clumps that you want to make sure you get dispersed. Now we're going to start to add some of this wine to integrate a little bit more moisture to it. You may not need to use it all. It's good to have on hand. And you really want to get in here and get that mixed up because we did not use a lot of that Calabrian chili. So you really want to make sure it gets spread all over so you're not just getting a big bite here of it and then nothing over the next several bites. So we're going to mix this up, get the rest of this wine in here. Just do it now. Get this mixed up and we'll be back when we're done. And you know you're done mixing when you get this super tacky sausage because you know all those enzymes are broken down and mixing together. This is nice and mixed through. I'm gonna go throw it in the refrigerator for about an hour, let those spices rehydrate, let everything start to marry and those flavors come together. Gonna come back, do one quick mix, and then we're gonna get these linked up. Okay, we have our meat rested about an hour in the refrigerator. After that hour, I came back, gave it another good mix. I really want to make sure I get that pepper distributed throughout this meat. I set up my meat stuffer here. Also in the meantime, I got my hog casings out. I got them into a bowl of water and I rinsed them a few times to get all that salt off. And they have been sitting in the bowl of water for about 45 minutes as well. That's going to loosen these up, allow us to get it on the horn here and cased more easily. So we're going to get this stuffed up with meat. This is about a 5-pound stuffer here, so I should get at least half of it done on one cycle. I want to push it all in there, get it nice and stuffed in there to try to eliminate any air pockets. At this point, you're really picking up a lot of those fennel notes. I'm getting some of the pepper, mostly that fennel though, which is perfect because it is an Italian sausage. Fennel, garlic, and pepper. All right, let's get this stuffed up. So you want to get this kind of coming out till it's almost out, and then I pull it back because we're going to throw a hog casing on top of it right now. I just go ahead, find one, pull it out, find the opening, but then you go ahead and you run some water through it. And that's gonna do a couple of things. It's gonna rinse out that inside as well as lube it up for the horn here. And on this counter, I just go ahead, let it get wet so it slides around. If you want, put a tray down and use that, but you wanna get some moisture on it. That way you can move it around a little bit more easily. Give it a little tie at the end, one knot. Then I'll clean these up later. Try not to go too tight because you don't want it to pop on you. Be sure I went a little bit past, that's all right. If you go a little bit past, just pull it out, but then go ahead and tie off the other end. And then I go ahead and I make them into links. Now you want to have a little bit of give. You don't want them to pop on you, but it's going to happen from time to time. And you'll get a feeling after doing this a few times. You don't want to just grab and be rough with it because they will pop on you. Be a little bit tender, a little delicate with it. You'll be all right. Here's one. Now I'm going to go ahead, case the rest of these up just like we did here, and we'll be back after I get them all cased up. We have all of our sausages linked up and looking great. Now it's time to get the finishing touches on these before they go to rest for a little while. And now's the time that I come by and clean these up because I typically prefer to wait till the end just in case I pop something and why do the extra work. So then I'm gonna lay these just out onto a tray and we're gonna do the same for all of them. And you're trying to give yourself some room here because I want to let these air dry a bit. Now these don't have curing salt and they're not going to get smoked. These are just going to be served as fresh Italian sausage. So we're only going to let these rest overnight in the fridge. We're going to let them be uncovered just to let this casing kind of firm up and dry out some. Then tomorrow we're going to come back, fire up the grill or flat top. Not sure exactly how I'm going to cook these yet, but once we get these all dried out, then I'll go ahead and separate them because you really want to let the casings dry out because that's when you go to cut these. If they're still wet, they could unravel and leak out some of the meat. Let it dry. When you snip them, it's going to stay closed throughout the cook. These are on the pan. These are going to go into the fridge now overnight. Let them really start to dry out them casings. And we'll be back tomorrow to fire these up and see how we did. We've had these resting in the refrigerator for roughly 24 hours. It is time to get into them. They are looking amazing. We fired up the Weber kettle. I'm using Jealous Devil briquettes in here. I have the slow and sear going. We're gonna set this up for indirect heat cooking. However, we are gonna cook these a little bit hotter. We're not going low and slow smoking with these. We're just gonna cook these like you cook your normal sausage during the summertime. So we got that fired up. When that comes up to temperature, these are gonna be ready to go on. Now, they've been sitting for about 24 hours, and what you really like to see is those twists you made nice and dried out. That way, when you snip them open like this, they stay closed. And that's one of the biggest reasons we like to let this dry out in the refrigerator overnight so they don't open up while you're handling them or cooking them. So we're gonna go ahead, separate all these, and then get them on the grill. These are smelling so good. You really get that garlic on here, but you're also getting that fennel as well. And these are fresh sausages. We did not put any curing salt in there. We are not smoking these. So this is the point in time where if you have your vac sealer, go ahead and freeze these up and throw them into your freezer so they stay nice and fresh. Let's go check out that grill and get these cooking so we can try them. Grill is running nice and hot. We have those coals rocking and rolling. Let's get a few of these on so we could try them out. I'm gonna get these vacuum sealed up while these are cooking, And we're gonna come back, flip these a few times until they reach an internal of at 160, 165, pull them off, try them. We will be back when these are done cooking. We have our sausages done. I did rotate these a few times, flipping, spinning a couple times until they finished. These are about 180 internal. One of them did pop, so I stuck a temp probe in there, checked it out. But these things are looking and smelling amazing. We have all of our other ones sealed, ready to go into the freezer. Time to crack these open, see how we did. These things are looking fantastic. Rocket hot. Got that nice juiciness. You got that nice high temp cheese in there. Let's see how we did here. Gonna slice off a medallion here. But look at the inside here. Let's see if we can see it. But it has this nice fine texture that you're gonna be used to getting in the store. And that's why we did the coarse grind and the fine grind to get this beautiful texture in here. Let's see how we did. That's beautiful. A little bit of heat at the back end, not overpowering spicy. That's what's really nice about these. If you wanted to, you could go up a little bit more in all of your spices, either the red pepper, the Calabrian chili, or the red pepper flakes if you wanted more spice, but this is nice. The creaminess of that cheese in here really kind of mimics a cooling effect as well. So it's creamy, got a little spice, but it's not in your face, super blow your face off spicy. It's there, it lingers a little bit. I say it's about the perfect amount. That high temp cheese stays nice and intact, but like you saw there, it's still nice and creamy. If you used regular mozzarella cheese, it would have just melted inside the sausage and liquefied. That's why you really want to use that high temp cheese. If you like what we did here, please hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, check me out on social media, and we will be talking to you all soon. Take care, everybody. Thanks again for checking out the video. Take care. Peace.